Good day. Welcome to part 2 of the series in the Sage 1 setup, and just the tutorials about how to do invoicing and those type of things. In our previous video we talked about the basic setup stuff that you need to go through, so you can always go back to the YouTube channel, go look for that video if you're not sure what to do. And then in this video over here we're going to be talking about customers, how to set up new customers, and how to do invoicing in Sage 1. So just head down to my computer and then I'll show you exactly what to do. So you'll see that once you log back into your system, remember with the previous tutorial we were talking about all the customer settings, those company settings that you need to set up. So once you start working with customers, you'll see that everything relating to customers, you'll find it under this tab over here, you see it. So obviously if you work through this list from the top, you can see the first button that you would have over there is to add a customer. So if you had to go to this screen, then I want to show you quickly what it looks like. So you can see over here is what we will start with is we're going to start with a customer name. So just for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to be adding myself as a customer, so you can actually see what it looks like when I start invoicing as well, and what it looks like when the invoices come through. So under customer name, I'm just going to put my own name down there, and then we're going to say Heinrich Revere. We're not going to worry about categories at the moment over here. If there's opening balances, we would put the opening balances in over there. If there's a credit limit that you want to give to the customer, you would put it in over there as well. Then if there's a specific date by when that opening balance was, so if you're carrying over balances from one accounting system to the next accounting system, this is the balance, the screen where you would be putting those informations over there. If there's credit limits for the customers, you would actually install it and put it on this screen over here, and obviously the customer number. And if there's a specific sales rep, then you can always link it over here as well. You see what's important when you start setting up your customers, there's two buttons that's really important. The first one is this little one over here that says the customer accepts electronic invoices, otherwise you won't be able to email the invoices through to the person. And then the other one over here, so that's the important one. You see there's a little thing over here that says auto allocate receipts to the oldest invoice. So what it does is as soon as your customers pay, then the system automatically allocates those payments to the oldest invoices, which is not always a good thing to do, because you never know if maybe he's paying new invoices. So I would rather not push that button right now. Then you can see the address information is fine, so you're going to put in your address, whatever your address is over there, the PO box. I'm just going to put a sample one in there for now. Okay, down. Let me say 7975. You can see over here on the right hand side where it says contact details. Over there you're going to put again the person's name, so you're going to say Heinrich Revere, and at the next one over there is important because that is the email address where those invoices are going to go through, so that's quite important over there. So we're going to say demo at sa.accounting.network.co.za, so I can show you just now what it actually looks like when the emails come through, or the invoices. Let's say accounting network, telephone number if that's relevant, you'll put the phone number in, the mobile number, web address if you want. So the rest of the stuff is nitty-gritty. So I think the important thing is obviously to have the customer's name if it's a company. So let's maybe change that over to SA Accounting Network. We'll just do it like that, so you can see what it looks like when we actually send the invoice through to ourselves. So I think that is all that you need to do for now. If there's delivery addresses, we'll put it over here. Then you can see there's a lot of additional tabs over here where you can, if you've got time available to go sit and do all these entries over there. There's actually two places where you can set up a customer. So this is the one place. A little bit further when we get to the invoice, I'm going to show you another place where you can actually add customers. But for now, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to press save. So you'll see that if we go back to that screen that we were looking at just now, with the customers. So if we go back to the customer screen, you can see at the moment it's actually listed over there that there's one customer on the system, and there's Heinrich Revere, my telephone number. So if there's other information, the mobile number and stuff would be over here. So that is the basic thing about how to set up a customer. The next screen over here would see, you can see over there, you can see there's a list of customers. So if you've got a lot of customers, it will pop up a list over there of all the customers. And which is quite nice is if you use this little search box over there. So if you've got a list of 100 customers and you want to look for one specific customer, you can actually search it inside that little box over there. The next one we're going to be looking at is going to be customer quotes. So what's nice about the system is if you work with quotations, under normal circumstances, if you're working like on a Word document or something like that, and you're doing a quote for somebody, or even on an Excel spreadsheet, and you want to, the client actually wants to accept that quote, then what they normally need to do is they have to retype the whole quote out into an invoice template as well. Where with this system over here, you can just by pressing one button, you can just change it over from a quote over to an invoice. So let me show you guys. So you can see that little button over there. I'm going to say add quote, and then on this quotation we're going to do certain things. So we're just going to ignore that for now. So at the moment we only have one customer, so we're going to leave that over there. And then you'll see something that's important. You'll see at the bottom over here where it says account, you see these little selections over here. So if you're working just in a sales type of the services type of industry, then you must always use the one that says account. If you're working in a type of industry where you're actually buying and selling stuff, then you would be using with the item one, you see. So that's important. And I just want to show you the screen where I actually set that up, because by default Sage actually starts always on the item one, which is a little bit of a tricky thing, because if you in a services industry, means that you first need to go load items for every type of service that you render, and then only after that you can actually come back to do quotes and those type of things. So what I want to show you quickly is, so if you go back to this company screen over here, and we go back to our company settings, the ones that we were busy working with just now, then you'll see that in the system you can actually open up more than one tab at a time, which is really nice. So if we had to go back here and we go to general settings, customers, you see this little button over there that says use account as default document line type selection. So if you untick that thing, then what happens is once you start doing invoices and quotes, it actually automatically is on the item selection over there, where if you tick that little box over there, then it changes that it's automatic on the account system, you see. So which I prefer, because obviously we're also in a service related type of business, so that is the one that we prefer. So once we're busy with the quotation, you can see there's all the little normal boxes that you can put in. So under that setup of the customer, if you put in the VAT register number and the delivery address and all that stuff, then all that information will pull through onto the system over here. So let's say for instance we're going to be doing a quote, like I said, that quotation number, remember when we were busy with that setup with the document numbers? So if you go to documents and statements, document numbers, over here you can set up what the next document number is going to be. So if we set that up, next quote is going to be 408, then you can change that number over there. But for now, I'm just going to leave it on 001. So what will happen is we're just going to go here and we're going to say under the account, we're going to say sales, because, oops, what income codes do they have? Let's have a quick look over here. See, at the moment they've only got one account that says other sales. So I think for now we'll keep it with that. And let's say for instance we say that we want to do a quote for somebody for submitting a tax return. So what will happen is we're going to say we're going to charge that person 900 Rand, and then once we've finished that, you can see you can actually add a lot of lines over here. So every time you press a plus button, it opens up another line, so you can actually put a lot of information into the system for what it is exactly that you want to quote the people for and what it is that you want to invoice them for, you see. So once you're happy, you can see even over here you can put in a message for that person regarding that quotation. If there's something specific that they need to know regarding the quotation, you can see once you've got your quotation fixed up over there, you've got a little button that says print preview. So once you press that button, you can actually go have a look and see what your quotation would look like as soon as you send that through. So at the moment, I'm quite happy with the way that our quotation is showing on the system. So let's quickly shoot back to the accounting system itself. So now, once we finish with our quotation, you can either just press save and then it saves it onto the system. You can press save and new, so it will create a new. Then obviously you can go do your next quotation, Print preview is the one we had to look at now quickly, and then the one that says email, which is quite nice. So I'm going to press the email button so you can see what it actually looks like. So you can see over here, it says recipients, demo at sacountingnetwork.co.za, and I can include myself as the CC on that specific email as well. And then you can see, remember when we were busy with that setup with the document messages, then you can see that that message actually pulls in over here onto the screen. So now I'm going to say email report, and then I want to show you quickly when I put back to my emails what that quotation actually looks like when the customer receives it, you see. So just going back here quickly, so if I had to go back to customer quotes, then you can see that my quote will be lying on the system over there. It says that SA Accounting Network quotation number 1, and at the moment it's showing over there as pending, and we will get to that actions button. Let me quickly just shoot back to my webmail just to see if that quotation came through, so you can actually see what it looks like. And let's quickly see if something has come through yet. Refresh. There we go. So you can see if we had to open up this email over here, so this is what the quotation would actually look like when the customers find it. So you can see that it's a view quotation online, and then you can see over here is the actual attachment itself. So if you open up the attachment on this webmail, we actually need to download it. Then you can see over here is what the actual quotation would look like when my clients get. Remember, when we need to do that setup, you're going to put up a logo and all that stuff onto the system as well. So we're just going to keep it like that for now. And then you can see over here where it says you can view your quote online. So if you had to go to that address over there, then you'll see this is that customer zone that I was talking about just now, where the customers can actually see what's happening on your system. So they will have a list over here of all the quotes that was made out to them, and then you'll see just now, once we're going to start working with the invoices, we're going to be seeing all the invoices over here. If there was credit notes on the system, you will pick them up over there, and then even with payments as well. So if there's customers that pay, they can see which payments you have on your system, which is a really, really nice functionality to have. So let's quickly go back to our accounting package. So now, let's say for instance this guy comes back to us and he tells us no, that he's happy with the quotation, and he decides he wants to do that, whatever the service was. So you see on the right hand side there's a little button over there that says actions. So you're going to press the little button. Let me just get myself out the way, and then let me move myself there. You can see over here we can say create invoice. So what it does, it takes all the content that's on that quotation and then it converts it over to an invoice. So let's quickly show you. So creating a tax form, you are creating a tax invoice from this quote. The quote status will be changed to invoice, which is fine. That's what we want. Now let me just move myself back to that side. So now you can see it says process customer invoice. So as soon as we're happy with all the information, they come back to us, they said that they want to do that. We've got the same options again. We can either save the invoice, save and make a new one. We can print preview, email, or print a delivery note. For now, we're just going to email that through so you can actually see what it looks like when the customer emails that. So again, once again, you can see you've got the email address inside there. You've got your CC where you can include yourself in the email, and you can see over here now, look at the document number. Remember when we were working through that setup, we were talking about the document number. You can see the invoice number is number 406, and then once we're happy with that, we're going to press email report, and I think we'll give it a minute or so, and then we'll go have a look at that email just to see what it actually looks like when it comes through. So now, if we go back to the customer, go to customer transactions, and we go to customer invoices, then you can see over there we've got that specific invoice of ours lying on the system over there now for 900 Rand. At the moment you can see the status on the right hand side over there shows as unpaid. Once we start the video on the banking, I will actually show you how to allocate those payments over there. What's important when you're doing those customer payments, it's important not to do the customer payments under this customer tab over here. You'll see if you go to customer transactions, there's a place over here where you can say customer receipts, but I don't want the people to capture the receipts there, because in the banking there's a separate place in the banking where actually capture the customer payments, because if you had to capture the customer payments on this screen, it means, and you capture it second time on the banking, then you can have duplicates of the receipts. You see, so you must be very careful here not to do that. I think the only time when you would actually use this function over here if somebody pays you cash. So that's when you can use that function. Yeah, so let's quickly run back to our customer screen. So we had a quick look at the customer quotes, customer invoices, and one more thing that I want to share. Remember when we were talking just now about this add customer screen, I told you that there's another place where you can also add customers. So let me show you. So if you press this add tax invoice button over here, you can see at the top of here it says customer. At the moment it says none, and then it gives us an option there to choose an existing customer or to add a new customer. So that is the other button that I was studying to. So let's say for instance we want to create a new customer. You can see this is the short version of that other form that we were looking at. So let's call this as a accounting network number 2. So then you can put the information over there. We're going to say once again allow the customer to view invoices online, and just the important thing over here is we need to put in an email address. Otherwise they won't be able to receive the invoices. Demo, it is accounting network. There we go. Let's try now. There we go. So now you can see the same procedure again. So now we can go again, and now remember that account was called other sales. We're going to say whatever we want to do here. We're going to say company registration, and we're just going to put in 1,000 rand over there. And then the same procedure, we can either just press save the invoice, save a new print preview, email, print delivery note. So I think for now I'm just going to save it onto the system over there, you see. So now at the moment you can see we've got 2 invoices there. The one was for the number 1, which we created straight from that customer. This is the one where we created the customer separately. Next screen over here, so under customer invoices, you can see here's a little functionality which I really love on this program, which is called a customer recurring invoice. So what would happen is if you have a customer that he invoices exactly the same amount on a monthly basis, then you can actually load them as a recurring invoice. So what happens is, let's say for instance on the first of the month you log into your system, then all those recurring invoices will be there automatically. So all you need to do is there's a screen where you can just go edit those invoices, press one button, and all those invoices will be sent out immediately. Let me quickly show you how to set that up. So if we go to our first customer, I'm just going to move myself out the way again over here. No, it's not over here. So if you had to open up the invoice itself, there's a little button that says options. So if you go to the options button, there is a button there that says create recurring invoice. So if you click on that little button, you'll see it takes you to a screen, and then now we just need to tell it how often we actually want to do this invoice, when the starting date is, the frequency. So obviously we normally do once a month, the due date for payments, the end date for that invoice. So if you only want to run those recurring invoices for 1 year, then you can set it up over there. And then obviously it's same again with your invoices. You can include somebody in the CC, and then once you finish with that, you can just press save. Then what will happen is on the 5th of March, so now on the 5th of April, your first recurring invoice will be there. And you'll see that if you go back to the customer thing there, transactions, customer recurring invoices, then you'll find that those recurring invoices are over there. So you can actually go and load all the recurring invoices over here. Then if you reach the date, so this means it's the 1st of every month, and you go to view draft invoices, then you will find that all the draft invoices is under this screen over here. And then this is where you would edit the invoices, and if you did additional work for the people, you load all that information onto the screen over here. So just jumping back to what we were busy with, you can see over there, we looked at the customer quotes, sales orders, we're not going to worry about, invoices, recurring invoices, customer credit notes. So let's say, for instance, we go back to our invoices that we had over here, and for some reason we realized that we maybe issued the invoice twice. So in this case over here, let's say for instance this top customer comes back to us and said, no, they're not going to take that as service anymore. Then we will see, we just move myself out the way. Over there is the button, there says create credit note. So if you press that button, it will take all the information that's on that existing invoice and it will convert it over into a credit note, you see. So what happens then is once you've got it open over there, you press save, and then what happens then, it allocates or it gives that customer a credit then on their account. So that is What will happen is if you made out the invoice wrong by accident, this is the place where you would actually go and fix it up. So you can see there's our credit note over there. Again, running back to customer transactions, there's another important thing that you need to be aware of is this one that says allocate receipts. Because quite often what will happen is in your banking, we'll talk about that a bit in one of the other videos, that if you receive money against a customer but you don't allocate that money against a specific invoice, then what will happen, it will actually show on the system that that invoice is unpaid, but the customer did pay it, you see. So the only thing is the system didn't allocate that payment. So let me quickly show you. So if we go to the SA Accounting Network number 21, then we say refresh, then we'll see that at the moment, let's quickly see, where is our invoices going to? Take that little button off, you see where it says outstanding only. So you'll see over here's our original invoice. So if you didn't do that allocation, it would actually look like this, you see. So what would happen is you will see that the payments are here on the right hand side. On the left hand side is the invoices that's outstanding. So all you do is you take that payment over there, drag it over to the left hand side, then you can see it allocates that payment or that credit note against that invoice, and then you press save, you see. Because if that is not done, like I say, if you go to that screen where you can see your invoices, that will actually show that the invoice is not paid. And let me quickly show you. As soon as the system updates. So if we have a look at custom invoices, you'll see at the moment, you can see that invoice that we made out in error. You can see over there the status shows paid, where the second one still shows as unpaid. Jumping back to the customers, so we looked at the quotes, we looked at the invoices, recurring invoices, credit notes, we looked at the allocated receipts, customer write-off and customer adjustments. That would normally be relevant if somebody short pays you with 50 cents or something. You would go into that page and then you would make the adjustment over there on that customer. The next thing under customer, which is really nice or really important, you see over here is a little button that says customer statement run. So we must be careful. There's two buttons that you can press for customer run. So the first one is at the top, then you can see a little bit further down there's another button that says customer statement. So there's a little bit of a difference between the two. Let's have a look at this report first. So customer balances, days outstanding. This is really, really important when we get to the reporting side of things. We're going to be looking at this a little bit further down the line as well. So if you had to run this report over here, you'll see that it will show you who owes you money for how long. So you can see at the moment we've only got the one invoice that's outstanding. So under normal circumstances, you will have a lot of invoices over here that people owe you money for. And what's important when you do over here is to make sure that the people that's on this list over here all has positive balances, because if somewhere over here there's a customer that has a negative balance, it means that the payment was received from a customer, but there was never an invoice that was created for that customer. That's the reason why I've got a negative balance inside that account over there. Yeah, so this is really, really important for your reporting purposes, because if you have negative balances here, then it means all your reports are going to be out. And obviously with these guys, you can follow up with them to see why the people are owing you money. So just jumping back to our screen over here. So if you go to the reports and we say customer statement run, so the option that it gives you there is now to send out customers or statements to all your customers at once. So if there's a list of 50 people who owe you money, you can make the selection over here to say that you want to choose. If you just leave it as it is, then it will send the invoices or the statements to everybody. Where if you just say that you only want to choose one specific customer, then you would make the selection over there, you see. And then what's important over here is to this little button over here. If you press show detail, then all the information that was on the invoices will actually pull through onto the system or onto the statement, which you don't really want. You actually only want the invoice with the amount and then obviously payments to show on the system. So I'm going to make sure that the tick here is off. Then we're going to say next, and then after that you'll see the next screen over here. It will give you an option over here to say that you only want to print the statements, print and email the statements, or only want to email the statements through to them. For now, we're going to leave it like that, so you can have a quick look. So you can see over here is what the message is on that statement. So I'm going to send that statement through, then you can have a look quickly and see what it looks like. So we're going to say send statements, and then once it runs through this screen, then you can see that It gives you a message to say they have distributed the following statements. 2 customer statements have been emailed. Remember, we've got 2 customers on the system. So just jumping back to our webmail program over here. So if we run back here and we look at what happens over here, see over there is the tax invoice that we were talking about. So if you look at this, you can see again you've got the option to look at the invoice online, but you'll see that the attachment is on the right hand side. And running back to our customer zone that we were talking about, you'll see that the invoice is actually on the system over there. You can see there's a description. The quote that we were talking about is still on the system over there. And you can see our statement would actually be on the system over here as well. So this is the statement that the system has created. Remember, we were talking about the description. So at the moment only shows tax invoice. Under normal circumstances, if you tick that other box, it will actually give you the breakdown of what was on that invoice itself. Payments, we obviously haven't got payments. So I think for now, you've got a fair idea of how the system works. Like I said, everything to do with quotations, customer invoices. And what's also important is that you can always go straight just to invoices. You don't need to first make a quote and then the invoice afterwards. You can go straight to customer invoices, create the invoice, send it out to them. The reports, like I said, remember the customer statement run, we send all of them at once. If you use this other one at the bottom, customer statement, then it only does one at a time, you see. And then that little report over there, which is customer balances, days outstanding, that's really important when it comes to management accounts. So I think for now that's it. That is where we're going to stop for now with this demo on customers and creating invoices. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like and subscribe to the channel, and then I'm sure there's going to be many more. The next video that we're going to be talking about is suppliers and supplier invoices. Thanks.